In this video, we will see how we can do a password validation, okay? This is our finish app. And here, if we enter a valid email and we hit on this login, as you guys can see, we have this validation error, okay? And this validation error is about this text field, this password text field, okay? And here, as you can see, we have 5 roles, okay? We need at least one lower character, okay? And we also need at least one uppercase character. We also need at least one digit, and we also need at least one special character. And last but not least is our password has to be between 8 to 16 characters, okay? So in this video, we will see step by step how we can add this validation message, okay? So if we go back to our code, the first thing we can do, we can take this and remove it to a different function, okay? So here we can create a new function. We can call it validate email or email validation. And here we can simply paste this and we can call this email validation inside this validate credential, okay? And what we want to do, we want to do the same thing for our password. So here function, and we call it password validation. And this is where we will write our password validation, okay, our password roles, okay. In order for us to give a proper explanation, what we will do, we will create a playground, okay. So if you guys come here on this file and we want to create a new playground, okay, and here we can select this blank, and for the name we can call it password validation playground. Okay, perfect. And we will use this playground in order to test our code, okay? Because for password validation, I want you guys to really understand each one of the roles, okay? So that's the reason why we are using this playground, okay? And on this playground, it's easy for us to test our code. For example, if I hit on this run, as you guys can see, we can see the result of our function, okay? So using this playground will really help us, okay, in order for us to explain our code, okay? So with that said, what we want to do in this playground, we want to create a new function, okay? And we will call our function password validation. Okay, perfect. Now inside this password validation, we want to write all of our roles, okay? But for now, what we can do, we can simply print something just to see how this playground works. So yeah, we can simply print password validation. And down here, instead of this greeting, what we can do, we can simply call our function. So yeah, password validation, and we can run this code. And as you guys can see, we have this password validation, okay? So now what we want to remove this and we want to add our roles, okay? So yeah, we can comment this section, and what we want to tap out all of our roles, okay? And as we said, we have 5 roles, okay? So yeah, 5 roles. What is the first one? The first rule is the fact that we need at least one lower character, okay? So yeah, at least one lower character. And we also want at least one upper character. And the third one, at least one digit. The fourth one, at least one special character. And last but not least, we want it to be between 8 to 16 character. Okay, perfect. So we have to make sure that our password follows all of these 5 rules, okay? So yeah, what I'm gonna to do, I will simply copy and paste on the code I have in my finish app, okay? So if I copy this and I paste it here, and now that we have this, what we will do, we will explain each one of these guys, okay? So the first one, so first of all, here, because we have a set of 5 roles, okay, this is why we create an array of 5 roles, okay, an array of 5 ns predicate, okay. And what we are saying is we want our password to match each one of these predicate, okay. And here for this first line, we are saying we only want at least one lower character. And you might ask yourself, what does this means, okay? What does this regex means, okay? So let us explain this. So if we copy this and we paste it here, so after our 5 rows, if we paste this one here, what we are saying is, first of all, this one, what does it mean? When we put this dot and asterisk, what does it mean? Well, it means that here at the beginning, okay, at the beginning of our password, okay, or before any lowercase, we can have as many characters as we want, okay. So here we can provide this match any number of any characters, and this also includes 0 character, okay. So here, if for example we tap this, so let's say we tap this John, okay, does it match this one, this role? Of course it does, okay. Why? Because our first lowercase is this one, okay, and before this we don't have any character, okay, which is matching this. So when we write this, we are saying, yeah, at the beginning of the first lowercase, okay, at the beginning of the first lowercase, we can have 0 or any number of character, okay. So yeah, if we write this 5 6 John, okay, it also satisfies this, okay, because here we are saying we can have 0 or any number of characters, okay, and here we have 2 characters, okay. So that's the explanation for this guy. Now what does this mean? Okay, well, this one is pretty simple. So this one is saying that we allow, okay, or we forgot this plus. So here we are saying that we need at least one character, okay. So we need at least one character between lowercase a to lowercase z, okay. So we need at least one, and this plus means that we can have one or multiple one of them, okay. So yeah, what we can say is that we want to match one lowercase or at least one lowercase, okay. So let's move to the last one. So the last one is the same thing as this one. So after our lowercase, what we want, we can have at least 0, but well, when I say at least, we can have, like, we can match any number of any characters, okay. So after this John, we can still have multiple characters, okay, and this will still be valid, okay. Why? Because we have a lowercase, and before a lowercase, what we are saying is that we can have as many characters we want, okay, and also after this we can have as many characters as we want, okay. And here, as you can see, after this John, we have as many characters we want, okay. And yeah, the same goes for this, okay, because this one, they are all lowercase, okay. So we are saying before this we can have as many characters as we need or want, and at the end we can have as many as we want, okay, including 0, okay, which is the case here, okay, because we don't have anything after this lowercase, okay. So that's the explanation for this one, for this first roles, okay. So here inside this ns predicate, what we are saying is that we are saying that we want to check, okay, we want to check if this the password that we will pass here, and here we need the password, okay. So here we can, when we call this function, we need to provide the password. So here we can simply say password, and it's gonna to be a string, okay. And we will have an error here because now we need to provide the password, and for now we can simply say password, okay. So here what we are saying is that the password that we will get here, we want to make sure that it matches this first role, okay. So, and as we said, we explained this one, so we need at least one lowercase, okay. So yeah, you will come here and say, okay, in this password, do we have at least one lowercase, okay, and we explain this, okay. So do we have at least something between lowercase a to lowercase z, okay. So that's the explanation for this first role, okay. And the second one is pretty similar to this one, okay, except for the fact that now we are checking this, okay. We are checking on the uppercase, okay. So we want to check do we have at least one uppercase here, okay? And the same goes for this digit, okay? Do we have at least one digit, okay? So when we say between 0 to 9, okay, we're including all of our digits, okay? So do we have at least one digit, okay, in the password that we send here, okay? And now let's move to this Regex expression, okay? And we will do the same thing. We will copy this, okay, and we paste it here, up here, and we will explain this on step by step, okay? So yeah, first of all, as you guys might have noticed, we have the similar characters here, okay, which means we want to match any number of any characters, okay, including 0, okay? So this one we understand. Now we have the bracket, okay? And by now you know that when we have bracket, that means we allow anything inside this bracket, okay? The same goes for this one. We had this bracket and we had this from lowercase a to lowercase z, okay? So we allow anything, any character between these, okay? And the same goes for this, okay? So here we are saying we want to allow any special character inside this bracket, okay? So all of these special characters, we allow them, okay? And we need at least one, okay? And this plus means that we can have many, okay? So we need at least one, but we can also have many, okay? And now for this guy, but now you guys know exactly what this means, okay? So yeah, we are saying that after this special character, we allow anything, any number of any characters, including 0 characters, okay? So that's the explanation for this Regex expression. And now for the last one is pretty simple. So the last one here, we are simply checking, okay? We want to have a minimum length of 8 characters, okay? And the maximum, we want this 16 characters, okay? Okay, now that you guys understand this Regex expression, what I want to do, here I will paste a list of passwords, okay? And you guys can pause this video, okay? And check which ones of these passwords are valid, okay? And which ones are not valid, okay? So guys, I will really invite you to play this game, okay? Because it will help you to see if you guys really understood what I said here, okay? So pause this video and check which one of these passwords are valid, okay? Okay, so let's check it together. For the first one, is this password valid, okay? Let's check. Our function will come and check each one of these predicate, okay? Does it match this? Do we have at least one lowercase? Yeah, we do. We have at least one lowercase, okay? But yeah, do we have at least one uppercase? No. So this function is not valid. Let's go to the second one. Yeah, do we have at least one lowercase? Yes, we do. Do we have at least one uppercase? Yes, we do. Do we have at least one digit? Yes, we do. Do we have at least one of these special characters? Yes, we have this one, okay? So this password is valid. Let's go to the third one. Yeah, do we have at least one lowercase? No, so this one is not valid. And what about this one? Do we have at least one lowercase? Yes. Do we have at least one uppercase? Yes. Do we have at least one digit? Yes. Do we have at least one special character? Yes, we do. Is this between 8 to 16? Yes, it is. So this one is also a valid password. Okay, perfect. Let's move to the next one. Yeah, do we have at least one lowercase? Yes. Do we have at least one uppercase? No. So this one, not valid. And yeah, this one of course is not valid too. This one, let's check. At least one lowercase? Yes. At least one uppercase? Yes. At least one digit? Yes. At least one special character? Yes. And between 8 to 16? Yes. So this one is valid. Okay, the before last. Do we have at least one lowercase? Yes. At least one uppercase? Yes. At least one digit? Yes. At least one special character? Yes. And is it between 8 to 16 character? Yes. So this one is valid. Okay. And this one is not valid. Okay. Because here we don't have like one digit. So here, this one not valid. Okay, perfect. Now that we know this, what we can do down here, we can simply filter our predicate. Okay. So here we can say let fail test, and we simply want to call this array. Okay, so this password test. Okay, and here we want to filter all of our failed tests. Okay, so here what we can do, we can say that we only want a test. So if we evaluate this, okay, so we only want, and here for this width we want to check it according to this password. Okay, so here password. Okay, and when I write it, okay, when I write this one, so this 0 that evaluate, what it means is we will go through this array. Okay, so this 0 means each element of this array. Okay, and we will evaluate this. Okay, and this width is this one. Okay, so we will come here for the first one, and we evaluate this one. Okay, so we will check is, let's say we for example here we are giving this password. Okay, so here it will evaluate with this password. So it will do the same thing that we just did. Okay, it will take this password, and for each one of our predicate it will evaluate the result. Okay, and what we want this result to be sent to this failed test, but we only need those who will fail. So we only need this those will be equal to false. Okay, the same thing that we did. Okay, so if you come here, you take this password, you evaluate it with this guy. Okay, if the result is false, okay, so for example here this one, it will evaluate this against this. Do we have at least one lowercase? Yes, we do. So this will be true. Okay, and because it's true, it won't send it to this failed password. Okay, it will go to the second one. Okay, because we are filtering. Okay, and when we filter, we will go through each item of this array. Okay, so it will go to the second one. Do we have at least one uppercase? Yes, so this will be true. So it won't send anything to this failed test. Okay, and we'll go to the third one. Do we have at least one digit? Okay, and we can see that we don't. So this will be false, and we will send this to this failed test. Okay, and I know this can be confusing. Okay, so what we can do here, we can simply print it. Okay, so let's print this failed test. Okay, let's run a test. So as we said, for example, this password does not conform to this predicate. Okay, so let's see what we have in this failed test. And as you guys can see, inside this failed test, okay, we have this predicate. Okay, because it does not conform first of all of this one. Okay, here we don't have any digit. Okay, and as you guys can see, we have this predicate inside of failed test. Okay, and it also does not conform to this one. Okay, because as you guys can see, here we don't have any special character. Okay, so that's why we also have this one inside of failed test. Okay, so basically here when we do this filter, it will simply put all of our failed tests inside this array. Okay, so yeah, if this array is empty, okay, so if we don't have any one of these predicates inside this array, that means our password is valid. Okay, so what we can do, we can come here and say if failed test is empty. Okay, if this one is empty, we want to print valid password. And if this is not empty, okay, because this is not, if this is not empty, it means it didn't check one of these conditions. Okay, so if this is not empty, what we want to print, we want to say that this password is invalid. Okay, and I think with this we are done with our password validation. Okay, so now we can simply test our code. So for example here, this one is not valid. So let's try this one. So we know that this password is valid, okay? So instead of this, we can simply put this one and run a test and see. We will see what we will have here, okay? So let's run a test. And as you guys can see, you have this password is valid, okay? Which means a function is working, okay? So we can do the same thing for another invalid function or password, my bad. So we can copy this and paste it here. And let's run a code. And as you guys can see, password is invalid, okay? So with this, okay, we are done with our password validation, okay? And of course, you guys can still play with this one, okay? So what we will do, we will simply copy this, okay? We will copy everything, okay? Because the link for this source code is in the description, okay? So you guys can maybe review this later in order to understand this better, okay? So what we can do now, we can simply copy this, okay? Because we are done with our playground, and we can go back to our code. And yeah, what we want to simply change the name of this guy. So we can copy this and paste it here. If our password is valid, okay, so yeah, we only care if our password is not valid, okay? The same thing we did for this email. So yeah, if this is not valid, so what we can even say, okay, for now we are inside this else, okay? So if this is not valid, what we want to say invalid password, okay? And I know in the finish app we added this long message, okay? So what we can even do, we can copy this long message and we want to put this inside this error message, okay? And yeah, we still want to show this alert, okay? So yeah, instead of this long code, because we don't need this, okay? So what we can do, we can simply say if this file test is not empty, okay? So we can simply add this, okay? So if this is not empty, what we can do, what we want to do, we simply want to copy this, okay? And we want to paste it here, okay? And now we can delete this guy and hopefully everything will be working, okay? So let's copy this, okay? And yeah, we simply want to paste it here, okay? And here for our password, what we want to do, we want to create a new publish variable, okay? So yeah, after this email, what we want another variable and we call it password. Okay, perfect. And now, since we have this password inside this view model, what we can even do, we can simply copy this, okay? And here we don't need this password anymore, so we can remove this. And here what we can do, we can simply say that, okay, this password will refer to this one, okay, to this guy, and everything will still be working, okay? So now let's go to our login view, okay? Because right now, if you guys remember, right now for this app, we simply have a validation on our email, okay? So let's check this. And here we have an error, okay? Simply because we forgot to remove this. So let's remove this. And if we try to run this app again, let's enter a valid email. And if we hit on this login, we can see that we are showing this this validation error, okay? So everything is working perfectly, okay? But we forgot to add something, okay? Because on this login view, we need to actually link our password to this password, okay? Because right now, if we enter something, okay, even if we enter a valid password, this will not work, okay? It will still show a validation error, okay? So let's go back to our login view, and yeah, we don't want this password anymore, so we want to remove this, okay? and obviously we have some error. And yeah, what we want to do is simply want to copy this view model and paste it here. Okay, and we want to do the same thing here, so we want to remove this password. Okay, and I think we will also want to do the same here. Okay, we want to remove this. And normally now, if we launch our app again, if we enter a valid email, okay, and we hit on this login, yeah, we have a validation error. Okay, now let's enter a, first of all, let's enter an invalid password. Okay, so yeah, I can simply say password. Let's see. Okay, if you hit this, okay, we have a validation error. Now let's enter a valid password. Okay, and normally if we hit on this login, we are not supposed to have any validation error. Okay, let's see. And we still have a validation error simply because this is not a valid password. Okay, why? Because we did not add this plus inside this list. Okay, because if we go back here, as you guys can see, we don't have plus inside our special character. Okay, so that's the reason why this email is not valid. So if we replace this with this and we hit this again, as you guys can see, everything is working perfectly. Okay, you don't have a validation error. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If that's the case, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.